Hello, Jaclyn. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you doing, John?
Doing great.
Aloha from Hawaii.
Hey, aloha from California. Glad to have you with us today. Jaclyn Rideau from the Kawaguchi Group EXP Realty from Oahu, and really happy to have you on our new podcast entitled The Mindset of a Champion. So let's get right into it. And just to get to know you a little bit better, what led you into real estate and how long have you been in it now?
Sure. So I've been in real estate about 5 years now, 4 years here in Hawaii. And what led me into it was actually my son. I have an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old, girl and boy. And when I was pregnant with my son, I actually was in veterinary medicine before real estate. Very
Interesting.
demanding. I was in surgeries, so doing a lot of graveyard shifts and a lot of emergency type calls. And while I was pregnant, I'm like, I've got to be there more for my kids. I can't do this, be in the OR by 5 a.m., not getting home till 11 p.m. type of schedule anymore. And I was missing
Sure.
so much with my daughter, and she was almost 2 at the time. So I spoke with my husband and I'm like, I've got to do something different. I don't want to have to answer to anybody. I want to create my own business. So what can I do to be able to get myself in a better schedule, to be in a situation with infinite amounts of money, right? That's kind of what I'm
Oh,
thinking
there
of.
you go.
I want to be able to be in a situation where it equivalates to however much I work, the pay will be the reward, right? And it's
Sky's
not
the
always
limit.
like that with corporate type jobs, right? You work and work and work and you still get paid the same.
Right.
So with me, I actually sat down with my realtor and just went and had coffee one random day right before work. And I was talking to her about it, pregnant as all could be. And she's like, "Have you thought about getting your real estate license?" And I'm like, I'm not into sales. Like I don't think that I could work for commission, right? And she's like,
Right.
"Oh, well, it's a good thing that real estate, if you're really good at it, it's not sales." Right? So she kind of talked with me, and yeah, led me to where I'm at today. And although she wasn't with any of the brokerages, I actually didn't decide to go with. She kind of helped me through being able to get licensed. And she's like, "Hey, if anything, you can always do veterinary medicine and do this on the side." My brokerage at first was Keller Williams. And my
Mm-hmm.
first brokerage told me, just be prepared that you're not going to have your business start up for at least a year. That's pretty typical for a
Right.
new agent, 9 to 12 months. And within the first 3 months, I had my first client and first escrow. So
Wow.
I decided I
Proved
didn't
them
want to
wrong.
be in veterinary medicine. Yeah, yeah. I was like, no, I'm doing this full time. Let's get in it. So within the first couple of weeks, I just decided I wasn't going to do this half-fasted full-time job, part-time job, vice versa. And I just wanted to dive right into it. And it's been
All
history
in.
ever since.
Oh, that's amazing. Um, so, it's no secret that obviously it takes hard work. Knowledge drives confidence, effort drives success, and you just dove all in. And so, the pandemic hits and the
Sure.
world shuts down. The United States shuts down in a lot of different places, and we put all these protective measures in place, rightly so. Um, that impacted a lot of people's businesses. I know people that had to leave the business, small business owners, especially, and I'm sure you know people too. And those of us that were able to stay into the business, we had to make adjustments, we had to make pivots to stay afloat and be successful during these challenging times. I'd like to ask you, what challenges maybe have you faced, but what adjustments, what pivots have you made to stay successful?
Sure. So here on island during the pandemic, we actually got very, very busy. So if you were not doing business during the pandemic, you probably shouldn't be in real estate. It was that easy.
Right.
So if anything, my business tripled. But I'd probably say the biggest thing for me, pivoting wise, is again, kind of as I mentioned before, not in this recording, but we were talking back and forth a little bit before we started. I'm
Right.
not good with technology at all. Like I have a team that does that. I'm
Sure.
not good. I'm a post-it person, always writing my notes down as we're
Notes.
talking.
Yeah.
And so during the pandemic, the biggest thing was like these Zoom calls, right? So it
Yep.
was Zoom calls. It was not meeting in person when I'm used to having my personality, radiate in person. I'm not good with, phone calls.
Right.
It just, I come across so differently in my business in person. And that was just odd for me. People weren't traveling here as much.
Right.
So I was, helping advise my clients on these multi-million dollar purchases of properties they had never seen before.
Oh,
So there were so many stipulations to come here
oh
that
yeah.
most didn't want to do that. And I was representing sellers and buyers on what is sometimes the most valuable asset that you're going to have in your entire life, the most money that you're going to spend on anything.
Absolutely.
And I'm advising and representing them on something they've never seen. They've never met me before. We've only done phone calls or Zoom calls, and they're just handing me keys to their property and entrusting me.
That's
That
challenging.
was,
Yeah.
it was a challenge for me. Just because I'm so used to, I always tell everyone I'm not everyone's cup of tea. I'm not filtered whatsoever. I tell you exactly how it is. And that probably is why most of my clients are investors. They're more of the business mindset. But I had to pivot and change to being that nurturer. I had
Yeah.
to hold hands a lot, and I'm not used to doing that.
Right.
So I feel that that really added a really big sensitive touch because I was dealing with military that had their orders canceled. I was dealing
Sure.
with people that were having, EFMP appointments, getting rejected. I was, having to handhold while, wives were crying because they were so frustrated because they couldn't come here and all they saw was this, $1.2 million home via pictures. So I got
Wow.
really good at tours, hand holding, nurturing, and just putting a little bit more of that sensitive touch to my rough personality,
Ah.
so to speak.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting, because it's you added a whole nother component to what you were used to. And, you're used to working with people who are, they know the business already. They just need you to help guide them, find the right property and get them into it. But now it sounds like you also needed to pivot and educate buyers and borrowers that through virtual means as well. I mean, that's a real challenge. And it sounds like you not only rose to the occasion, but you thrived and succeeded. And, that's what champions do, right? Winners win, and winners like to flock to other winners. And it's really encouraging to see how you've done that. And overall, how would you say the market in Hawaii is right now where you're at?
Sure. So we definitely went through a low point. I would probably say, we get slower when it comes to the holidays just because people are celebrating with their families. Most aren't home shopping in the middle of the school year. So we usually see a low when it comes to home sales, usually around November, December anyway. But of course, interest rates rose. We ended up not seeing as many buyers that were coming here, or they were going to, let's say, like the ninth island, Las Vegas, and they were parking
Right.
their money there elsewhere. But now we're seeing a really big change. I would probably say in the last week or two that I was actually just talking. I was at a final walkthrough earlier this morning and I was talking to the building representative there. She was asking me the same question, what are you seeing with buyers now? And I was like, I'm seeing two different things. And I want to say the number one thing I'm seeing is exhaustion from buyers.
Mm,
So I've got these buyers that have been looking, let's say 6 months to a year, and because of the interest rates, they were just
yeah.
holding out, right? They really want to get into these properties, but they're holding out because, interest rates were, in the sevens
Yeah.
and they don't want to buy, but they're
Right.
holding out for 2% interest rates. And that's just
Exactly.
not going to happen. I mean,
It's
when we're looking at a
unrealistic.
trajectory, it's unrealistic and it's not something I'm going to see until maybe 5 years from now. And in five
Right.
years, the houses are going to be more expensive. So it's just,
Exactly.
you've got to be able to, weigh out your pros and cons. So what I'm getting now is, we're around 6%. And I've
Hmm.
got these buyers that are like, we don't want to wait anymore until 2% interest rates come. You
Right.
don't want to wait because housing is still going up. We're a positive equity state. The dirt's
Mm-hmm.
still appreciating.
Right.
So now I feel like I'm getting an influx of past clients that haven't bought because they were waiting and now they're just tired. So
Yeah.
they're like, no, now, you beat us. We're just more or less going to invest now. You know what I mean? Like we can
Yeah.
refinance later. They're finally understanding it.
Sure.
So I've got that, and then I've got the other ones that have been waiting for 6% to be the low.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm seeing, at least with my team, and I've talked to them, there's several of us. I mean, there's 16 of us, I believe now that are full
Wow.
time. And we talk
Big
all the
team.
time,
Yeah.
almost every day. And when we're all talking, I'm asking them the same thing. Are you guys seeing a huge influx? Like I'm seeing a change over the last couple of weeks with past people that I've been speaking to and the new people kind of coming in. And everyone's agreeing with me. So now we're starting to see all these buyers come back into the market. Obviously, now we're going the end of January, which now that we're going to start seeing an influx of buyers,
Yeah.
now it's going to completely change the market. So we're projecting probably by April. So around the spring is when it's going to start changing right back around to a seller's market. Interest rates are going to start
Interesting.
going down. You're
Yeah.
going to get more buyers. Sellers are going to increase their listing prices, and we're going to
That's
have
right.
bidding wars because there's not
Absolutely.
going to be enough inventory. So that's kind of where we're at right now in our market.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing that. And I'm hearing that around the country, different realtors are in their markets. And like for instance, in San Antonio, Texas, tons of inventory. They have tons of inventory there. And it's just it's great for buyers. It's great for sellers right now. The bidding wars aren't there yet, so it is a good time to jump in, and you can always refinance later, marry the home, date the rate type mentality. And it's people, I think that's part of our education, right? As professionals, we educate people that are sitting on that fence, and it hurts to sit on a fence anyway. You can only do that for so long, but
Sure, exactly, right? They get
right,
tired.
it's painful, it's tiring. But now, if people really love that house, someone asked me the other day, when's the best time to buy? I says, when you're ready, when you want to buy.
Perfect.
Because yeah, I mean, if you qualify, you see the place you like, get it. Because you're right, later on it's going to turn back into a seller's market. There's going to be bidding wars. Yeah, the interest rate may drop, but you might have to go well over asking again, and those
Sure.
times are maybe not in your favor. So I'm really happy to see that you have that champion mindset to not only be a winner for your clients, but you're educating them and setting the right expectations. That's awesome.
100%.
That's great. Well, I have one final question for you, and
Shoot.
it's what advice would you have for other small business owners, maybe your fellow colleagues in real estate, to be successful in 2024 and beyond?
Sure. I have that grind mentality. If I'm not doing something, I better be doing something, right? If you talk to anybody on my team, they always say I'm the hardest worker. Every minute of the day I'm doing something. I would tell, any of my mentees, anyone that's getting into real estate, small business owners, you have to continue with the grind, right? You can't
Yeah.
ever pause yourself because you just don't have anything going on because we're setting ourselves up for tomorrow. So anything I do today is going to be a reflection on what my business is 3 months from now,
Yeah.
right? Anything I do tomorrow is going to be 3 months from now in a day. So I'm always situating and I'm always preparing myself for success throughout the entire year. So if you have a bad day, pick right back up the next day. Don't just, go into this lull period. I get this a lot from my mentees where they just don't have the patience. And I guess it's
Yeah.
going into the next thing, right? Just having patience, nurturing, customers to be able to become your clients,
Hmm.
building, trust. That all takes a long time. I mean, we are as, investors ourselves, we are advising again people to make one of the biggest purchases of sometimes their life.
Yes.
When I have a client that's coming here that's investing $1 million, I'm not trying to rush them through anything. So I never have that, and in obviously real estate, it's that commission breath, right? Like you want to
Right.
buy a house, you want to buy a house.
Yeah.
Like that's
Here's
not
my card. Here's my card. Here's my card.
necessarily right, exactly. No, we're a team of advisors at all points. It's, we're needing to be patient. Anything that we do today is going to be a reflection on our business a couple months down the road. So don't ever just be so hard on yourself that you worked on a Monday and you didn't get a client on a Monday.
Right.
In real estate, you go to work every single day unemployed, right? And
Yeah,
in any small business, it's exactly what's happening. You
that's
open your
right.
store, if no clients come in, no customers come in, you're ultimately unemployed. So let's change that around. Let's do whatever you can to just think outside the box,
Hmm.
talk to people, nurture people, start working your sphere. If you're running a small business, tell people about it. I can't tell you how many mentees I work with that I'm like, how many people know you're in real estate? And they're like, everybody. I'm like, great. Do you have a Facebook business page? No. And I'm like, then everybody doesn't know. If you
That's
were to
right.
go through your phone right now and I pick the 27th person on your phone, like in your phone book, would
Right.
they know you're in real estate? Can you tell me
Ooh,
with
that's a good question.
100% certainty that they would know? And they go to the 27th person, no, they probably wouldn't know. Then everybody doesn't know you're in real estate.
That's
So
right.
let's start having a conversation. I mean, it doesn't have to be, with people that are your clients.
Hmm.
The people that you know can ultimately be your clients.
Sure. And the people
So
they
let's spread
know.
the word. Let's get out there. Right. Let's start having conversations and let's make a difference.
I love that. Those are such wise words. And I said that was the last question, but it made me think of just one other one here. It's
Just one more.
yeah, just one more. It's like that one
Sorry,
last
I could
call
keep
of
you
the day.
talking forever. That's probably my problem now, too.
No, it's a great problem to have. So, someone comes to me and says, but John, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I have kids. Uh, I can't possibly do all this. How do you do it? How do you
Sure.
balance work-life balance?
I was actually thinking about that just this morning and I thought to do a video, but I was too busy.
Here we go.
Um, but it was, earlier this morning, I was in my car at like 7 a.m. I've got my two kids in the back seat. I'm in traffic, about to drop them off at school. I have a final walkthrough that I have to try to accommodate because, my kids' school starts at 8. My clients want to be there at 8. I've got multiple appointments back to back. My kids have functions at their schools. I'm a mom of two. I'm a wife. I run a
Yeah,
household. I mean, I'm the epitome of a working mom, right?
yeah, sure.
But as I'm sitting there driving, I've got my two kids in the back, hair and makeup done, completely ready for my clients at 8 o'clock. I'm like, people can do this. I mean, anybody that is like, I can't do it, I've got kids or I've got, a 6 month old or it's really
Hmm.
hard or, my husband's in the military, I have to go with his schedule. To me, those are excuses. And to me, that's that victim mentality.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's not going to put you in that grind mindset.
Nope.
For me, anytime that I have a challenge, either that be my and I'm there for a lot of things for my kids. I'm not present just because I run a business. And to let
Hmm.
anybody know that's watching this, I do really well in my market. This is a full-time position for me. I'm there for my clients all the time. Communication is a big deal for me, but I'm a good mom and I'm there for field trips. I'm there for gingerbread house making contests in the middle of the day.
Uh-huh.
My husband is active duty military. I'm there for promotional ceremonies. I'm there when he has to deploy every year. And I make it work. I never go in with, how am I going to be able to do this? My job is taking me away. That's victim.
Yeah.
For me, I'm like, nope, let me see how I can adjust my schedule. Let me see how I can be there. And as I was in the car this morning, kind of getting back to that, I'm like, with everything that I've got going on and I can do it, anybody can.
That is really, really wise. And I was thinking about that as we were going along here too. And you know, it, people need to hear this because otherwise they can live and breathe with these self-limiting doubts that I can't do this because of
You have to crumple those
this,
up
and
and
that.
throw them away.
Get
A
rid of
hundred
them.
percent. Oh my
Throw them out
gosh,
the
you
door.
cannot have those at all.
No, those will crush you. And the whole purpose of this is we just heard from the mind of a champion mentality. Every day when you wake up, you have that champion mentality, both guns flexing to take care of your family. You know your why, and you go after it every single day. And Jaclyn, I have to thank you for joining me today. This is going to be a very motivational piece to help others that are either struggling or maybe they're successful, but it's time to push. It's time to push and be more successful. So I
Sure.
really appreciate it. And I look forward to, I know we're coming over there in March. So we look forward to meeting you and your
Yes,
hubby.
dinner plans all day long.
Woohoo! That'll be
Yes.
super fun. Well, I'll let you get off to your work and family responsibilities, but I thank you again, Jaclyn, for spending time with us this afternoon.
Of course. Anytime, John. Thank you so much for having me as a guest.